The other thing I'm seeing again on the residential side, and I just dealt with one today, is for the last 2 years when you came to closing day, you'd get there and you're like, there's a hole in the wall. And the seller would be like, so what? I kicked it on the way out the door. And you're like, well, can you fix it? And they're like, we'll take the house back. We'll sell it for 50 grand more. You can keep the hole.
Yeah.
We had one today. The agent might be listening to this. But there was a missing door slab. And door slabs are $80 to $100. Now they're $120 to be honest. They took the door slab. I honestly don't know why.
Okay.
Don't ask. Anyways,
it's my door.
the offer's $150. Which again, last year they would have been like, oh, we don't really care. Like you can go buy yourself a door slab.
Yeah.
We went back and we're like, no, we need more money. And so we ended up going back for $300, which is still not out of this world, but we were able to do that. And the seller bid into it and did it because we're like, well, we're not going to close or we're going to have to pay a company to come in and fix this.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, too bad. And they don't want to go back to market because they didn't have any other offers and they don't necessarily know that they're going to sell overnight. And so is it worth killing the deal over that much money? But as a buyer, like, there's no reason for you to have to spend that extra money. Like, you're now paying for the move, the property, all these things. And so, again, you can remind yourself and be like, we are the strong party. We hold the bag.
Yeah.
We can help make the decisions. And we both need to be treated fairly. And so sellers now are going to start going back and like, okay, we need to work with our buyer. We'll make the changes. We'll make sure this is actually clean on closing. So many homes in the last 2 years I've gotten there on closing, and they're a mess.
Yeah.
They're just like, they're okay. Like, they're swept clean, but they must have swept it with just the stick of the broom, not the actual broom side of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you missed 90% of the crap in here. And like, yeah, well, whatever. Like,
yeah. And a lot of the times too, like,
now you can be like, I want $300 to get a professional cleaner to come clean this empty house now because I'm not moving into a shithole and I'm not going to spend my first whole day moving in cleaning stuff. And the seller's gonna be like, shit, like, you're not going to close? And you're like, no, I'm not going to close.
Here's another one. Longer closings. You know, I was involved in a negotiation recently where we're like, you know what? We don't want to pay any of the heating costs. Right? This is going to be a rental anyway. Let's push the closing out. Push it out until, March 15th.
Yeah.
Because then we maybe have like maybe one more really bad winter billing month.
I was going to say, did you buy it in Florida? It's going to be cold as shit in Halifax March 15th.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, like, you have one more extra month and then it starts to warm up. And you may have enough leverage to get that situation done. Also, with tenancy, you might be able to put some of the onus on the seller to, say, vacate units. We talked about that. If you're an investor and you're trying to vacate units, it's very difficult. And most times the seller was just like, well, that's on you after closing. This might be a situation where you say, listen, I'll give you this, but you have to get 2 of the units vacant. And however they do that is ultimately up to them. I'm just saying at this point in time, we have this leverage. And I find like a lot of the examples you were citing there are specific number stuff. I want, $300 for a door, or I want to squeeze this money. That's great. And I think there's an opportunity to do that. However, I tell people sellers often get stuck on the number value.
Yep.
And if you give them a number they can live with, you can sometimes chip away at the edges on the other stuff. Okay, we're going to give you the number, but no property tax adjustment, no oil adjustment. And they don't realize that that's $3,000. They still got their number, but you're saving $3,000. Yeah, it's money they've already spent. So you're saving $3,000, but even better, you're saving $3,000 out of pocket. Or they get their number, but it's going to be a longer closing date. And for you, again, that's money you're saving because you don't have to worry about heating it during these cold times or at a tough time of year in the winter, and you may even be trying to time like a better interest rate and all these things. These little negotiations around the fringes you can do in addition to getting a better price potentially.
100%. Again, as a whole, I was just giving small examples I just faced recently. But again, as a whole, I think the buyers, you have all the room again to negotiate, bring up unique situations, extend timelines. I have a bunch of sellers that before I would never get extensions done. It's a lot more paperwork I find right now. But I would never get extensions done. And right now they're all kind of willing to work with me.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I will also say, I feel like it's been a little tougher on the banking side to get people across. Before I felt like I was getting auto approvals. Now it's okay, we want to get a street appraisal done. They are struggling to get this last little bit, like we're doing with one today, where the debt service is a little bit tight. It's on a multi-unit, and the debt service is tight between their income and the actual building itself. And so we're really trying to finagle it to get it across the line. So there is definitely some difficulty that you will face as a buyer right now. But again, we've talked about it. If you can get through that difficulty and you can get through the next 2 years, it's greener pastures on the other side. And so if you can make it work now, it's going to work great in the future.
Yeah.
So again, I think we just want to talk about that. Is like, this is something that I think everyone needs to change their mindset. If you're a buyer, start to take like pride in that. Don't be like, oh, here we go. This is insanity. I'm exhausted. I shouldn't, like, I'm getting beat up. I think you need to be thinking like, I'm a buyer. I hold the bag. There are sellers that want to sell to me, and also you don't necessarily need to rush. Like,
but be engaged. Be engaged.
Be constantly engaged, because there are little deals that squeak through all over the place, especially in times like this, because a bunch of people are losing engagement because of Christmas, because they're tired, because of all this crap. And that's when the deals come up. Like, literally from week to week, you'll see a house sell and you're like, that sold for 200. How did nobody see it? And it's literally because it was around Christmas and nobody was paying attention. They had a staff party. They had a staff party, and a bunch of people missed it. And so you had an opportunity to squeak in there. And like, I'm seeing this now where I was looking at a property for clients, and the offer date came and went. There's no offers. We should have offered then, because we would have been the single offer. We waited 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and another offer came in. Then we offered, and now it became a multiple offer situation.
Yeah, I had one of those.
All the strength was lost as a buyer, and the seller regained their strength because now there's multiples on the table.
Well, the way I look at it is like, listen, if you were all hot and fired up to buy at a time where multiple offers were at an all-time high, there were more buyers than ever before, and there was a shortage of houses.
Why wouldn't you be in there now?
Why wouldn't you be in there now? Right? That's the mindset shift of like, why are you only engaging when everyone else is engaged, and then you're stepping back when everyone's stepping back? There's something to be said to contrarian mindset. Do the opposite of what other people are doing. If everyone else is going to the sidelines, that intuitively means this could be an opportunity for you to stand out and seize an opportunity while no one else is around.
Again, being smart. I'm all about the contrarian mindset, but you got to be smart when you do it. It doesn't mean like, well, if they're not doing it, I'm doing it. Well, no. It means you got to be smart about what you do. The other thing I want to mention about multiple offers is right now, I just did one that had 3 offers. All 3 offers were like $70K below ask. So again, multiple offers now is not multiple offers what it was 6 months ago or a year ago. A year ago, if you had 3 offers, you're like, all right, this house is going for twice what they're asking.
Yeah,
but
I know a place with multiple offers, 100 grand under was the highest bid.
There you go. So this is a home that had multiple offers, 100 grand under was the highest bid. I was telling a set of investors last night that are looking to buy their first burr, and I said, hey guys, don't worry about the amount of offers. You need to run your sheet and see what number you need to be at, and that's what we're going to offer based on.
Yep.
I'm going to try and talk to the agent to get the best gauge, but realistically, we need to be like, okay, if we need to be at 500 grand and it's up for 600, well, let's offer in that wheelhouse. It's multiples, fine, squeeze a little bit, 520. As long as you can still make money and feel comfy, do that. But don't be like, oh, these multiples, so it's going to be, if there's 2 offers, it's got to be at least ask. That is not the case at all. And just be prepared to be rejected and still grind. You were doing it a year ago, so what's the difference in doing it today?
Well, the answer is going to say, well, the rates are what's different. It's like, okay.
But you're getting a better deal.
You're getting a better deal, and we've talked about this before. If you're, save $30,000 to $40,000 on the purchase, that more than offsets the higher interest rate over the term. And I do feel that within 18 months, maybe 24 months, you're going to be able to refinance into a lower rate anyway. So you're going to pay a lower sticker price, and you will close the gap on the rate more than you expect.
Exactly. So anyways, as a whole, negotiate, keep the gas on, keep looking. As a buyer, I would feel way more motivated now. Things are coming down the pipe. There's going to be a bunch more deals. Don't lose steam. I think this spring you're going to see a bunch of great opportunities. So kind of keep on it. Don't be disappointed if you see things sell for a little bit less than you paid. You know what your strategy is. You know what your values are. This is also another thing. You have time to get end value appraisals. So if you can get an end value appraisal, you know where you're going to come out on the back end. And I would say almost assume the worst. Like, always make sure you have lots of room in your numbers. Don't go after these tight little squeaking projects that barely make you any money. Try and get ones that have some lift, because you're going to need that if the market goes down a little bit and it stays down for a while. But again, we expect that in probably 2 years, I think the market will come back with a vengeance, because again, our immigration targets, the way things are going, I really do honestly believe it's going to keep going. To double down, I'm just going to say it, and we're not necessarily going to get into our own news, maybe a little bit, but I have now 2 places under contract, and I threw out a third
expansion
offer.
mode.
I am back. I took the last, I'd say 6-8 months off, maybe a little longer, to get some projects done, understand where this rate market was going. And now already I'm starting to see some deals come back to the table, and the sellers are working with me way more. Before, I was just like, I have 3 weeks on a commercial deal, and I couldn't even get the Enviro done in time. And I was just firming up, because I'm like, well, even if the Enviro is $50,000, I'll just deal with it.
Yeah.
And now we're able to extend it out. We're re-reviewing prices. We're making sure this stuff makes sense. And that's how it should be, really. But yeah, I'm back out there shooting out offers again, and I'm bullish on where the market's going to go in the future. But again, going after that lift, making sure that there's a ton of room in those projects, so that even in times like this, you can get out of your deals. Like, I am so fortunate that I'm refinancing my projects now and getting my money back, because otherwise I would have been very, very tight. And I know there's a lot of projects that aren't. And so again, focusing on getting those good deals, and I think you'll see those good deals over the next year.
Yeah, and I think maybe what we'll do is next week we'll check in on the status of that stuff and get a little update on what's going on and what we're trying to do. And then coming up before the end of the year, we're going to do a couple episodes. One on kind of tracking, looking back, but also projecting forward, goal setting, trends that we think are going to be on point for 2023, what's going to be hot, what's going to be not hot. So those episodes are coming up as well. We're also loading a bunch of stuff onto the Patreon in the coming few weeks, because we have a big surprise and a huge announcement for Patreon in the new year. So lots of good stuff coming. As always, if you have a topic or if you have a question, please reach out, and we try to answer as best we can in a timely fashion. Some of you reach out to us personally on our individual socials. That's great too. We'll continue to keep getting back to you. And if you post your questions down here and we're able to answer them, then everyone benefits from the answer. It's like, the teacher saying in class, like, there's always good questions because someone else has the same question out there, and we want to build this community. So appreciate the feedback, appreciate the shares, appreciate the love. We love you right back.
Yeah, we love you right back. Thank you guys so much for listening. It was super, super exciting to see that a few people had us on their Spotify year in review. Yeah, we'll catch you in the next one.